Ishavasya Upanishad has a Shanti mantra to begin with, which says, Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Avashishyate. This is one of the most significant and, in a way, a very deep mantra which reveals the very secret of this universe, wherein everything is divine. Everything is suffused, permeated, completely filled with divine. There is no place where that divinity does not exist. And therefore, if you remove anything from divinity, what remains is also divinity. If you add something to divinity, what remains is also divinity. Example is like space. Before this Premamrutam auditorium was built, this was a football ground. And football ground was nothing but a space which was called as football ground because children were playing here. Then this space was converted into a hall. And now it is called Premamrutam Hall. Though the space got transformed from the football ground into a Premamrutam Hall, did the space reduce in its size or increase in its size? Space was always there, is still there. It's only modified from being called a football ground to a Premamrutam Hall. So the idea of divinity is like that. It's like the space that permeates everything. If you build a few more walls, you can call it by different names too. Like in a house, a kitchen, bathroom, prayer room, bedroom, living room, dining room. All these are various division of spaces, but the space has not been truly divided or reduced in its entirety. So that is the idea of this Purnamadam. If I add a kitchen to the hall may become small, but the space has not reduced. That is the idea, that you add or delete or remove or do anything with that divinity, it remains divine only. Now it is one assurance that only Indian scriptures give. Whatever you are, good, bad, not so good, not so bad, however you are divine only. Many of us will find it very difficult to believe the kind of people that we are, that how can we be divine with all these negativities or shortcomings or so many other faults in us? Are we still divine? Our scriptures will not just say, it will declare, yes, you are. Despite all the shortcomings, all the negativities, all the faults, you are still divine. And how much divine are you? Completely divine, not even partially divine. This is the beauty of only Sanatana Dharma. All others, many religions and faiths teach us that we are sinners, and even if you take Hinduism as a religion, then it also teaches us. Many of these people chant, Papoham, Papa Karmaham and all that. I am a sinner, I have to suffer, I must repent, atone for my shortcomings. This is the way people chant in religion. Religion has been created like this, based on this principle of merit and sins, and rewards and punishments, and heaven and hell, to discipline people. That's the role of religion, to put people on the right track and keep them disciplined. But spirituality that our scriptures talk about is beyond that. It says, yes, for this moment you might be behaving badly, and for another moment you may be behaving very well, virtuously. Yet in both the moments, that ability with which you behave, either bad or good, that ability is divinity, and that does not become good or bad. Sun, if falls on the statue of God, does not become sacred, sun's light. And the same sun's light falls on a garbage bin, does not become dirty. The same sunlight illumines both, yet the sunlight remains pure and unaffected, untainted by anything that it interacts with. Likewise, this divinity interacts with our mind, our senses, but it does not get tainted. Our thoughts may get tainted, our feelings may get tainted, but this ability with which we think, the ability with which we feel, the ability with which we work, that does not get tainted. Like the electricity does not get tainted. If it passes through a red bulb, it looks like red light. If it passes through a blue bulb, it will look like blue light. But electricity has not become blue or red by virtue of passing through a particular bulb of a particular wattage or color. So this Purnamada, Purnamidam idea is that divinity does not become less or more because the bulb's wattage is less or more. Electricity does not become less or more. Because the vessel or this room size is less or more, space has not been reduced or increased. Space has remained the same space. So it's modification that we see in this world. And to that extent, we are divine. That we are all modifications of that divinity. Sometimes we express it in its entire glory. A singer sings, oftentimes, they lost themselves in singing. At that moment, they are in touch with their divinity. Divinity is expressing itself completely through that song. Sometimes a dancer is lost in dancing, not even aware of what's going on around. At that moment, you have become one with your divine self. So also a sportsman, so also a doctor, so also a teacher, an engineer, anybody. When your thought, word, and deed are completely in sync without any aberrations and deviations, at that moment you are fullest expression of your divine self. That divine energy completely flows through you without obstruction. Otherwise, there is other resistances like our mind, our ego, our individuality, which comes in the way of the divinity. So why is that some bulbs are so bright, some bulbs are dull? Not because of the electricity, it's because of their own wattages. And if the bulb is dirty, let us see this dust has accumulated, it will become even dimmer, like a oil lamp. You see, the glass case which covers the lamp often assimilates soot on it, black soot, because of which we can't see the brightness of the light behind. The light has not become less or more, it is the same. But because of the dirt that is accumulated, it looks less. Likewise, divinity expresses itself through everyone, everything in this world. Because we are made of that divine. Last time we studied that. The highest secret, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. What is the secret? All are divine. Then you say, what is the secret in that? You already told it off. No, it is a secret because it's hiding in plain sight. We all know theoretically we are divine, but how many of us practically experience it? Till we experience it, this still remains a secret only. It's an open secret. You can't access it because you have not experienced it. So the whole sadhana is about preparing yourself to experience that divinity in its fullest. Purifying your mind, senses, your buddhi, your antaratman, so that divinity which is already existing can manifest itself completely through you, without being obstructed, without being diminished, without being made any lesser than what it is. So that is the whole idea. This chapter, last chapter we read, and Krishna so lovingly has told Arjuna about this royal path to realize oneself. And he says, out of so many things, people worship me in so many ways. People think of me as God, as demigod. They go to different types of places. They use different rituals to reach me. They worship Pitrus, they worship God, Devas, they worship Bhutas. In all kinds of ways, they worship and try to reach me. But the best way to worship me is to constantly remember me and do everything for my sake. He says, one of the most powerful shlokas of the previous chapter was, Ananyas chintayanto ma yajana paripasate, tesham nityaviyuktanam yogakshema mahamyam. I will take care of everything. Come to me with complete surrender and think of me at all times, and I will take care of you. Don't worry about yourself. We learnt about that, we discussed that. And then he says, how do I do that? Yat karoshi, yat juhoshi, dashnasi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurush madarpanam. Do everything for my sake. I'm studying, not just for the sake of getting marks and getting a medal and pat on my back. I'm studying because this is a divine job that I have got. I am as a student, it's my duty, dharma, to study well. And I shall do it for the sake of God. I'm a businessman. Why should I do business? Not to just earn money. Money will follow, but with moral principles for the betterment of society, to contribute positively to the welfare of people, I must do my business. Why I'm a doctor? Because I want to treat people, heal people. In that process, I will also gain whatever I need to gain. A salary, a living, livelihood, whatever it is. A good name, and gratitude from patients. All that will happen, that is secondary. That is not the primary reason why you do things. Primary reason is to please that God, which is within and without. So I do everything for God's sake. Krishna says this is the simplest formula. Just do it for my sake. If you can't think, you are not the doer, like in previous chapter, Jnana Yoga. No, you are not the doer. Very difficult to believe that, because we feel we are the doers and the enjoyers. Then Krishna says, okay, forget, become an instrument of mine. Even that is not possible. At least offer everything to me and get rid of the karma and karma bandhanas. That much at least you do, he says in the previous chapters, And there are wonderful shlokas in that previous chapter. I'm not going to again go over it for the lack of time, but you can revise it again as we enter the next chapter. In the last chapter, he kept on telling, do everything for my sake, offer everything to me. Why? Because I am the Lord. I am the Lord in the sense Krishna is not saying I as a physical Krishna is the Lord. I as the divine supreme being, the Nirguna Nirakara Brahman that I truly am. That is something that you must understand and offer everything to me. Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Soyam, whatever you have, just offer it to me and you're redeemed from the consequences. So why should you do that? He says, Shubha Shubha Falaireva Mokshasi Karma Bandhanaihe. The good and the bad, both you will be redeemed of. You may say, no, redeem me of the bad. Good, let me enjoy the good. Krishna says, that is also Karma Bandhana. What will happen? You will do some good things, go to one Svargaloka, enjoy your heaven, and then again you will fall back on earth. And again you go through one more cycle. And that time you don't know whether you will be good or bad again. So you don't even get into that. He says, just offer everything, get rid of all the Karma Bandhanas, do everything for my sake, and best is be free. So this is what is the advice, how to reach Krishna. In the sense, how to realize that divinity, that Purnatvam within and without. In the last shloka of the previous chapter, he advises, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mamaivaishyasi yuktvaitva atmanam patparayanaha. Become completely absorbed in me, your mind, thoughts, senses, abilities, everything is dedicated to me, matparayana, do everything for my sake. Manmana, for your mind should be completely absorbed in me. Everywhere you should see me, do things for me, feel me, experience me in all. This is the best way. So, meanwhile, when Krishna is telling all this, Arjuna is naturally fascinated by these new revelations. For 89 years, they have never discussed this. They never talked about such things. But this time, Krishna is telling him because he is happy, he is interested in Arjuna's welfare. And why is he telling so many glories about divinity and about himself and about what is the truth? Because he is interested in Arjuna's welfare. He wants him to fight the war for the sake of dharma, but not be affected by the results of it. Not get caught into the karma bandhana that comes out of it. That is the attitude that Krishna is trying to teach Arjuna. That is the main purpose. So he continues to talk about this glory of divinity, which is right now manifest in Bhagavad Gita as Sri Krishna Paramatma. So that Arjuna develops more and more love for Krishna and is willing to obey Krishna at the end. So what does Krishna want from Arjuna? He wants him to obey right now, that fight the war. Don't run away from your duty. That's all Arjuna is supposed to do, and Krishna is trying to convince him. So he talks about more glory so that Arjuna becomes more devoted to Lord Krishna, and then he is willing to obey. He is willing to follow the command. That is the whole purpose. As I said, if we don't know somebody's good qualities, we do not develop respect for them. Once we get to know who the person is, we develop respect. That story is that Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was there. And he was going for a conference. And when he alighted from the train, a British officer also alighted. He was looking for a coolie. And he said, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, by looking at his dress, he thought he's a coolie. And he called him and said, Coolie, please carry my luggage. And Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar did not say a word. He was dressed in Indian attire. He carried the luggage, went all the way to the conference venue. And then the British officer realized that Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar is the speaker. He is the chief guest. And he was very embarrassed and ashamed. He said, I'm so sorry I made you do this. Why did you not tell me that you are Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, whose speech I have come to hear? He said, if I would have told you, then you would not have allowed me to carry the luggage. And you are not capable of carrying. You are too spoiled, right? So you need everybody's servants. So there was no coolie, so I just thought, why trouble you, let me carry it for you. Humility of Ishwar Chandra. But once he came to know this is only Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, his attitude changed. Till now he had behaved arrogantly, but now he became humble. Because he got to know who that person was. Like that, Arjuna must get to know who Krishna really is in order to develop bhakti. These 6 chapters, starting from 7th onwards, is about developing bhakti, a sense of devotion. And devotion is not about asking something in return. Devotion is simply loving God for love's sake. Yatvasmin parama prema rupa amrita swarupacha. That is bhakti. Parama prema rupa. In love, there is no giving and receiving. Love is only loving. Therefore, to develop that kind of love for Krishna, Krishna is glorifying himself. See, God only has to introduce and explain who he is. Who will know God otherwise? Sometimes many devotees come to me. I wouldn't have met them before. The moment they enter the interview room, they take out their visiting card and they explain to me their entire biodata. Swamiji, I am so and so, I have done this, so that at least I will get to know what they are. But I never did that to anybody. This is my biodata. However, they get to know in the passage of time and conversation. But this is the idea. Krishna has no choice. He has to give his biodata to Arjuna. And through Arjuna, everyone. See, this is who I truly am. I am not that the stealer of butter in the Vrindavan. I am not the killer of demons. I am not the ruler of Dwaraka or whatever. I am here with you as the Supreme Lord manifest in a human form. Understand that. So Vibhuti Yoga is a very beautiful chapter, at the same time very significant. Vibhuti means glory, divine attributes. That is Vibhuti. But we all know about Vibhuti, which is ash which we put on our forehead. That is also called Vibhuti, because that is the ultimate final destination of everybody. In that also there is divinity. In destruction also there is divinity. Is what Vibhuti that we put on our forehead also tells us. See, this is where the body will finally end. And your Atman, or the divinity, is what you must strive for. Body is impermanent. So in that also we see the glory of God. How he hides behind the impermanent. Nityo anityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman tamatmastam yenanupashyanti dhira tesham shantim shashvatim. The one who realizes that divinity within. Which divinity? The permanent in the impermanent. Such a person finds permanent peace. Upanishad says that. So when we apply Vibhuti, what do you think? You glorify God. Why you glorify? Oh Lord, this body that you have given is only this powder at the end of it. This is what you and I, everybody will become. Whether it's a dog or an elephant, a woman, man, king, pauper, rich, poor, once burnt, they all will become this white powder. This is our impermanence. But you hide in this impermanence. So I remember you and put this on my forehead to remind me that I am not this body. I am you who is hiding within as the Atman, who is indestructible. This is the idea why we put Vibhuti. Children eat Vibhuti for various reasons. They get fever, sore throat, Vibhuti. They get back pain, leg pain, Vibhuti. All kinds of things. But that is not the reason why you apply Vibhuti. Vibhuti's real glory is that it reminds you of the impermanence of this world and permanence of divinity. That is why we apply Vibhuti. So next time when you are applying Vibhuti, do remember this Vibhuti Yoga and apply. Not for the sake of looking good, not for the sake of showing that you are a very big devotee, not for the sake of curing yourself of some headache and illnesses. That's not the reason. Not because Warden told you. That's the worst reason why you should apply Vibhuti. So Vibhuti Yoga. Again, everything is yoga in Bhagavad Gita. Yoga means that which unites us to God. Vishada is also yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga to begin with. Arjuna's sadness is also his reason why he became close to God. Realized God, got to know Bhagavad Gita. So Vibhuti Yoga is also a way Krishna is trying to draw Arjuna's attention to himself and trying to unite Arjuna's mind with divinity. Arjuna should get so mesmerized, astonished, astounded by the divine glory that his mind should get completely lost in the divine glory. That is the idea why Krishna is taking the pain of repeating himself or retelling everything. Starts with Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunume paramam vachaha yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. See, everything God does only for our welfare. When I scold also, it's for your welfare. When I praise also, it's for your welfare. When I call also, it's for your welfare. When I tell don't come also, it's for your welfare. He says, hitakamyaya. Desirous of your welfare, Arjuna, bhuya eva. Once again I am going to talk to you about my glory. Because still you have to develop that firm conviction in my divinity, develop strong, unwavering devotion and faith in me, so that you are able to follow my command and attain glory. Therefore, I repeat myself again. He says, why I tell you this? Priyamanaya, because you are very dear to me. See, God does not talk to everybody. Everybody talks to God in their own way. But God does not talk to everybody. Whom does God talk to? Who is dear to God. God has his own preferences and choices. Those who listen to him, those who obey him, those who are following his words, those who practice his teachings, they are dear to God. Such dearness only brings you near to God. That's why I always say, don't try for nearness. Strive for dearness. Near, you'll automatically become near. Because once you become dear to God, you don't have to go to God. God will come to you. Because he wants to be with you. He wants to be around you. He wants to spend time with you. He wants to talk to you. Arjuna is one such devotee. See the glory of Arjuna's devotion. Krishna says, Yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami itakamya. Because you are so dear to me, so I want to tell you again about all these for your welfare, not to glorify myself, not to blow my trumpet here. I am so and so, I am such and such God, I am so powerful, I am this, I am that. Not for my glorification, for your welfare, I tell you. And what is the welfare? Krishna will explain that too. What is the welfare if you know me? The second shloka he says, why I should tell you, why Krishna should tell about himself? Because nobody knows who he is other than he himself. Nobody knows. He has to tell about himself. He says, Na me veduha suragana prabhavam nam harshaya aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Because nobody knows me. Suraganas, Devatas don't know me, Maharshis don't know me. Why they don't know? Because I appeared before them. I came before them. Aham adihim devanam maharshinam. I came before the Maharshis and Devas were created. I was already there. So how can somebody know me fully who came after me? Somebody who was there before me would know me. Therefore, I have to explain to you who I am. But why am I doing? For your welfare, so that you develop devotion and faith. So, of all the Sarvashaha, I was the first Adi. Before any creation, I was there. We have read Aitareya Upanishad. It says very clearly, Brahman alone was. Then Brahman decided that I must create. He became Ishvara, the thinking Brahman I call. Then Shakti, Maya Shakti appeared, which is the creative power. Then came whatever, Hiranyagarbha. From there came the Virata. So this is how creation happened. So this is how Krishna is not associating himself as Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, because he was born only 89 years ago. But he says, I was there before all the Maharshis and Devatas came into existence. So whom is he referring to? He is referring to himself as the Nirguna, Nirakara, Brahman. Pure supreme divinity which always was, is and will be there. That is now encapsulated in the form of Sri Krishna at that moment. So Krishna straight away is referring himself as Nirguna Brahman only. Most of these Dvaita Bhaktas, they over-glorify these shlokas. They try to tell Krishna is God. Whereas my approach is God is Krishna. God was, is and will be there. And God has become Krishna now. Krishna is God, that is true. But the bigger truth is God is Krishna. Truth is God is Sai Baba. It opens your mind to a greater idea. Brahman was, is, and Brahman took this form. Nirguna took this Svaguna form. So don't fight over names and forms. Idea is that first Brahman was Nirakara and he took Sakara. Of course, the glory is in Sakara. We enjoy that glory of Saguna Brahma, but we should never forget there is a deeper truth of Nirguna Brahma. So Krishna is straight away telling, before you get too attached to my name and form in this battlefield, oh Krishna, you are so and so, you are such and such person. Let me tell you, don't get attached to this physical Krishna. I am that Nirguna Brahman who was there before the Maharshis and Yogis came into existence. He is clarifying that so that Arjuna correctly understands and gets devoted to the Nirguna Nirakara Swarupa of Krishna and not the Saguna Sakara. Otherwise, that is another ignorance that is very difficult to get rid of. So that is the idea. And why should you know all these things? He says, Yo mam ajam anadim chaveti lokamaheshwaram asammudha samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. See, such a person who comes to know that I was the one who was unborn, means I am not born to a parent at some point in time, I was always there. Such a person who comes to know I am the Lokamaheshwara, I am the Lord of the entire universe, everybody's Lord, because of me everything exists. If I don't exist, nothing exists. Therefore I am Maheshwara. So what do we do? Such a person who comes to know asammudaha samartyeshu, amongst the mortals he becomes asammudaha. He doesn't have any more doubts in my truth. He is not confused about who I am. He becomes clear once he knows who I am. And what happens after that? He becomes sarva papaihe pramuchyate. He becomes free of all sins. What is the sin? The biggest sin that we commit is thinking we are the body. All the sins begin from there. We are the doers. We are the enjoyers. We are the reason why everything exists. I am so and so, such and such. So much of glory, self-aggrandizement. All that comes because of the papa that we are the body. From there, all wrong starts. But the moment you know we are God, God alone exists. It's a mistaken identity that I exist. Actually, God exists as me at this point in time. Once you have the clarity, who is the doer, who is the enjoyer, everything, whole attitude towards life changes. And that is the reason why he says such a people become asammudaha. They are not confused anymore about who they truly are. They know we are divine only, manifest in this form for a particular reason. To express why I always say, what is the purpose of why you are here? You are simply here to express divinity through you. This is the purpose of life. Allowing divinity to express in its fullness is all that we need to do on earth. Whatever divine wants to become a doctor through me, allow that divinity to flow through me like a doctor. Divine wants to become a dancer through me, allow that divinity to dance through me. Divine wants to sing through me, allow that divinity to sing through me. That's why when we were in Singapore, we had a conference on mental health issues in the teenagers and youths. And many discussions happened, and this is becoming one of those very big issues now people are talking about, especially after COVID. And the new age parenting, where parents have no time for their children. Children have no time for anything other than their studies, or pushed into competitive living, and then all the time running behind marks and ranks because they're pushed that way by the society, the parents. Nobody understands what is there in the child's heart. Then what happens? The child is thinking something, saying something, doing something else. The manas, vachas and karma are not in congruence, are not in harmony. Such a child is frustrated. The child wants to be a musician, but everybody says, if you become musician, what are you going to earn? Though instead you become doctor somehow. So the child is not interested in becoming doctor, but parents are interested, society is interested. Why? Because in our society, somehow we have equated success is equal to money. What money you make at the end of your life, that is equal to how successful you are. If you made less money, but you are very good at your work, nobody cares. So that is what I was saying. We are losing good musicians and getting bad doctors in the society. We are losing good poets and getting bad engineers in the society because they've been pushed into it. And such a child is frustrated. Such a frustrated child will never be able to express the divinity truly through himself or herself. So when we talk about child rights, I talk about this as one of the fundamental rights of the children, to allow themselves to do what they're born to do. Don't force them into other structured approaches and say, fit into this framework of the society. Such a person can never be divine because he can't express. The divine can't express through such a person because his mind is an obstruction. His individuality is an obstruction because such a person is not wanting to do. So I always tell parents and teachers, and the one way of getting rid of mental health issues in young people are allow them to express themselves. Don't suppress them. Allow them to express. Whatever they are born to do, let them do. In our old times, children were made to sit and few items were put around the children. Some play items, some money, some pen, paper, and other items, musical instruments, things like that. And then they used to watch what this little infant is going to do. So infant will crawl, naturally get attracted to something and picks it up. And the parents knew that this is the inner composition of this child. From the previous janma, he's bringing this sanskara. He went and picked up a musical instrument. He has this purva janma sanskara of being a musician. He doesn't have to become a educationist or a money-making businessman. This is not his disposition. But over a period, the child is forced to acquire different ideas, and that's not the truth. So many of the people I've seen, the great resignation in the US, so many youngsters are resigning and going back to their villages, farms and all that. 4 million people resigned during COVID in US. Why? Because they were not happy doing what they were doing. They were making money, but they were not happy. And at some point they thought of throwing the towel and said, we are walking away. Many people took this bold decision. Some people may call it foolishness. But if it was done because they were suffocating in what they were doing and they had to express themselves in a better way, I think they have done the right thing. Because they'll become good at whatever now they pick up. They won't be those frustrated software engineers who are trying to make money and do what they have been told. Now there will be poets, musicians, singers, speakers, writers. We don't know what is the variety, the beauty of the nature, beauty of the society will come out. So this is why I say that people should be allowed to do what they are born to do. That's when they will truly be able to manifest perfection. Otherwise, society will become mediocre. Everybody is compromising on what their true abilities are. Then mediocre societies will form. We will never have people of great caliber and excellence. That's why in our university I tell, excel in whatever you do, but you will excel only when you love what you are trying to do. When you feel for it. That's why we're trying to put as many programs as possible so that those who don't like science can take humanities, those who don't science and humanities can become musicians or Vedic Pandits or dancers. trying to add. Now doctors, of course, nurses, paramedics, whatever. So this is the idea. So Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna, you know my glory and know the purpose that this glory should manifest through each and every act, thought and word of yours. That is when you really know who I am. And if you know that, you are freed from all the sins because you are not the doer anymore. You are not the enjoyer too. Na kartasi na bhoktasi mukta evasi sarvada. Ashtavakra says. No doership, no enjoyership. You are ever free. Try to get that understanding. So Krishna is teaching that. And he says, all the qualities within you are because of me only. Beautiful shloka 4th and 5th. Buddhir jnana sammoha. Shama satyam damah shamaha sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo bhayam cha abhayam eva cha. See, both opposites are because of me. Cold is because of me, heat also is because of me. Like that he says, both are because of me. Bhaya is also because of me, abhaya is also because of me. Bhava means something exists, is sufficiently available, and abhava is also because of me, it's a non-existence. I am the reason behind everything, he says. The dualities, the opposites are because some dukkha, sukha. You will say, when God is there, sukham only should be there. Why dukkham should be there? Why? How God exists in dukkham? Why does He create misery and sorrow? Many people argue with me, Swami, when God is so loving, why there are so many poor people? Why there is hunger, poverty, injustice, unfairness, this, that, wars and crimes? And one day one fellow told, you tell God created all, like in this shloka, good and bad. So God only created bad also, right? So why should you blame me? The bad that I am doing is the God doing bad through me. I said, yes, don't worry. When you get punished also, it's God only who is getting punished, not you. You keep that attitude clear. Don't try to fool God around. So that is the idea, that you accept both, then perfectly okay. But what we do, we accept good things and bad things we attribute to God. Like the husband, no? When son wins a medal, see, my son. When he fails in the exam, your son. That attitude should not be there with God. Though both are because of Him. Dukkham, Sukham, Bhava, Abhava, Bhaya, Abhaya is there. Of course, all good qualities like Buddhi, Jnana, Asammoha, Kshama, Satyam, Dama, all this is divine qualities. But even the so-called negative qualities is also because of me only, he says. Thorn is also me, rose is also me. Both have a purpose. So when dukkha comes in our life, what should we think? This is also sent by divine. Go to the depth of why we are sad, where this sadness is coming from. Because of our desires, expectations, attachments, disappointments. Get rid of all of them. That way also you will turn towards God. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Because of that difficulty and sadness, he turned towards Krishna. Shishyastveham shadi mam prapanna. I am surrendering to you, Krishna, help me. Most of the people don't surrender to God unless they get into trouble. So troubles are good. One nice शायरी is there. ये दर्दे दिल है जिसने मुझे उनसे मिलाया है, भगवान भला करे उसका जिसने मेरा दिल दुखाया है. It is because of the pain and misery and sorrow that I have turned towards God. Thanks to that person who caused this pain and misery in my life. Because of him I got to meet God. See the attitude in dukkham. A devotee will think like this. A non-devotee will complain. If you are God, why you are giving trouble to me? That's Swamiji who got cancer. So people say, oh, you are a self-realized fellow, you also got cancer. People are mocking. What your God is doing? He gave you cancer, you worshipped him all through. He said, what cancer? I am only cancer. I am not God cancer. I am only cancer. In that also my God only exists. Ramana Maharshi can put an insect eating into his flesh. Eat my child, eat. Puts it back into his own flesh. Because they see that. Pandita Samadarshinaha. In everything they see divinity. So that is the idea. In good, bad, ahimsa, samata, tushti, tapo, dhanam, ashwa, yasho, ayashaha. In fame and infamy. Both I only exist. Sometimes we get bad name without doing bad work. People call us names. In that also we should remain equanimous because we should see God's hand. Maybe He's trying to bring down our ego and expectations. We don't know what He's trying to do. So in every situation, bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva pratha vidhaha. In the past, in the present, in the future, whatever you are experiencing, all these are my manifestations only, Krishna is saying. How beautiful his glory, the divine Brahman's glory. When we were traveling recently in Singapore, one of the devotees was, they never knew this concept of Brahman. Poor Singapore Chinese people. After half the Chinese people don't even believe in God because they are atheists. And these people learnt about God, first Saguna God and now Nirguna God, and they're so excited. Oh, this concept of Brahman is so beautiful. Everything is perfect in that Brahman's idea. Good is perfect, bad is perfect, success is perfect, failure is also perfect. They were talking like this to me. I was so thrilled to hear this because they've understood this concept. So that is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Know this concept and you will be free. Now the devotee of Singapore is free because he sees God's hand in bad also. Success also, failure also, good name also, bad name also. And everything is seeing God's hand, Brahman's plan, divine design. See, he is free of sorrow and miseries. That is the idea. Why Krishna is telling all this to Arjuna, that in good and bad, in both the opposites, see me only, I am only existing in both. And he continues to glorify himself that how I only created Manus, I only created the Maharshis, I only create Prajapati, everything I only created. I means not the Krishna of Yaduvamsha, the Brahman who created. So I am going to skip all those shlokas. And he says that Etam Vibhutim Yogam cha mamayo veti tatvataha. This Vibhuti Yoga, the one who understands. By this Vibhuti Yoga means by constantly contemplating on my divine glory, by seeing my hand in everything in your life. The one who develops an understanding of mind, tattvataha, completely in principle understanding, so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra sanchaya. He says avikalpena means such a person does not waver. He has no other choice other than me. I am the one and the only choice. That is what PBM girls were saying, no? We have no backup plans. God's plan is our plan. We have no backup plans. This is that devotee who knows me thoroughly, has no backup plans. The faith in me never wavers. Bad happens also, his faith only gets more reinforced. So such a person alone is devotee. The one who understands this is also yoga. Krishna is saying this is yoga, Vibhuti Yoga. Such a yogi, yujyate natra sanchaya, attains me without doubt. He will realize me without doubt. Why? Because he has complete faith in my glory. Good, bad, ugly, everything is your glory, only your divine. So this is the beauty of this yoga, that you think of everything as divine only. Then he goes on saying that aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Those buddhiman, those who have some brains, those who have right discrimination, with constant contemplation and without unwavering devotion to me, such people always remember me and know that because of me only everything has come into existence. I am the source of all. Such a person is a buddhiman, he's a man of wisdom. Fools only complain. One fool was sitting under a tree and he told, what creation is this, God? Small apples are kept on big thick branches of the tree. And this big pumpkin is hanging from a very thin tendril. It should have been the other way around. Pumpkin should be on big trees and apples should be on thin tendril. Just then an apple fell on his head. He said, yes, your creation is perfect. So we have our own problems with God's creation. God has no problem. He has done everything perfect. The Buddhiman will see this perfection in everything. He will not complain and cry. That is what he's saying, Buddha, Buddhi. And why I want you to remember this word, because Krishna is going to give you something out of this chapter. He says, continues to glorify such a devotee. He says, Matchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. This is one of my favorite shlokas. It says, how are my devotees? Matchitta, their all mind is absorbed in me. In everything, Swami, 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 Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, everything is that only for them. Madgata prana, I am the life force. Without me, they cannot exist like those gopikas, Brajagopika Anam. Bodhayanta parasparam, all the time they are talking to each other about me and my glory only. They have no other discussion. Kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti ramanti cha. They talk about me, they discuss about me, they only sing my glory and they enjoy, they revel in that. They are satisfied with that. Talk to them about the latest movie released, they are not interested. Talk to them about a cricket match going on, they are not interested. Talk to them about the wars going on between Ukraine and Russia, they are not interested. Talk about our Congress, BJP issues, they are not interested. Talk about glory of Swami, they are all ears. Please tell us more, madam. Please tell us more, sir. They are interested only in that. These are my devotees. They are not interested in anything else. Unfortunately, don't take it too far and say, I am not interested in his studies also. No. That cannot happen. That you should be interested in, because that is your offering. Patram pushpam palam toyam. That is your offering to God. So don't you become, some children are extra smart. It's for them. But he says, mat chitta. Always they are absorbed in me, they're thinking of me. And I know a lot of our devotees are like that. All the time they're talking about me, discussing about what I said, what I meant, what I did. They're so interested in all that. They're not interested in other things. Otherwise, why will they come and settle down in an ashram like this? It's because they're interested in God. Developing interest and taste for God is all that I want our teachers to do to our students. This is what I keep telling. They have taste for the world. But helping them to change their taste and develop taste for God is the essence of our education. This is how you must create our children. Matchitta, Madgata Prana, constantly thinking of divinity in everything. Like Prahalada was there, good, bad, everything. That is what I keep telling about Prahalada's story all the time. So this is how it is. And how these people are like Kunti. In Kunti, Krishna, after all the battle got over, Krishna asked Kunti, okay, I'm going back now. Anything that you want to tell me or ask from me? And Kunti has a Kunti Stuti in Bhagavatam. 25 shlokas are there. In this, Kunti praises Krishna and what she prays for. And I picked up that shloka. It comes in Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8. It says, Vipadah santu taha shashvat tatra tatta jagat guru bhavato darshanam yat syat apunah bhava darshanam. She says, give me troubles, Vipadah, again and again. Why? Because bhavato darshanam, because of that I get to see you. I remember you, I get to see you, come and save us. They leave poisonous snakes, you come and save us. They put us through treacherous court people, you save us. They put us through wars and battles, you come and save us. Every time we are in trouble, you have come and saved us. Therefore, by having your darshan again and again, I will never have to have darshan of this world, she says. I will be freed from the bondage of birth and death. Therefore, please come again and again, but you come only when I am in trouble. So give me trouble again and again, she is saying. See the beauty of devotion. Give me trouble because only dukha mein sumiran sab kare, sukha mein kare na koi. Kabir Das says, we don't remember God in good times, only in bad times. Kunti says, unfortunately, my mind is like this. I remember you in bad times. So please give me more bad times. This is the beauty of devotion. Matchitta. I want to be absorbed continuously in you. Hanuman tells Rama, Rama, please don't ever make me commit the sin of forgetting you. That is the sin that I think I will ever commit, that I forget you. So let me remember you in every situation. And he says, this 10th one is what I was talking about. He says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. For these people whose mind, soul, heart, life force, everything is absorbed in me, who are only interested in me and nothing else, what do I do to them? He says, I give them buddhi yoga. This is another yoga. In Vibhuti Yoga, there is a buddhi yoga. They will have the right understanding, right discrimination, right decision-making skill. They will never make a wrong decision in their lives. Kim sadhuna karvam aham kim papama karvam iti, says Taittiriya Upanishad. At the end of our life, we think, why did I not do the right things? Why did I do the wrong things? We regret. Krishna gives us buddhi yoga. And he says, with this buddhi, you will never make a wrong decision in your life. You will always choose God over everything else, and you will always be happy. You will never come to any regrets. At the end of your life, when you die, you have no regrets, no remorse, no sad feelings. You are happy man, dying happy. Because I have given you buddhi yoga. Why did you give you buddhi yoga? Because you always are remembering me. Satata yuktanam. Continuously you are absorbed in me. And priti purvakam, not out of force. Get up at 4:30, do suprabhatam. After that, chant japam. After that, forcefully, if you remember me, you are not going to get buddhi yoga. Priti purvakam. Because of love for me, you remember me at all times. Therefore, to you, I can give buddhi yoga. And what is this buddhi yoga? We all know buddhi. Sometimes I go by car and there's a little boy who stands on the road and his mother tells to ask me to pray to me. And this boy tells, Swami, nange olle buddhi kodo. He always prays this. Nange olle buddhi kodo. This is buddhi yoga. Krishna only can give that buddhi to think right. Otherwise, our mind always thinks wrong. So this is the power of bhakti. That Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mamupayantite. Those who come to me with this kind of bhakti, I give them buddhi to choose the right. Similar verse had come in chapter 2. When first part he explained Sankhya Yoga. After that Krishna says, Esha tehe vitam Sankhya buddhi yoge tvamstu. Now I talk to you about buddhi yoga. There also he talks about it. Where he talks about the principles of karma, karmanyavadikaraste, all that thing, how one should deal with the world. So that buddhi yoga now he's again telling here that I'll give you that. I always tell, see in our institutions how easy it is to do this. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purukam. With loving service, you can attain this buddhi. In our institutions, it's not a choice. You have to do loving service. I was in the hospital just the day before. I was telling the doctors, see, love is our culture. Treatment will happen, that any hospital will do. Why we are different? Not because we are free, but because we are loving. We are caring. We feel the patient is ours. When the Sri Lankan team from Eastern University, I was there yesterday, they met me, they went to Raipur, they saw this hospital, and they came and told the first time we understood what is healthcare. We really care for our patients here, they said. This is something no medical school teaches. Nobody does it actually, they say. First time we have seen this in action in your hospitals. With love they treat. Not because I told them, they are not patients, they are God only coming in that form. Rogi Devo Bhava. And therefore we treat them with love and care, like our own. Priti Purvakam, Bhajatam, Satatam. This is all possible in these institutions, see. Elsewhere if you work in a corporate hospital, we do not know whether you can treat your patients with so much of love. There is a possibility because you are always driven by targets and pressure and things like that. Here you can do such loving service. This is the beauty of this place. That's why I say if you can't realize God here, then you can't realize anywhere. No? You have to do service. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam you have to do. Otherwise you won't get buddhi. Hanumana was there. He loved Rama, but he also served Rama. Vibhishana loved Rama, but did not serve Rama. He did not get it. Then Hanuman tells Vibhishana, you simply sitting and chanting Rama, Rama, Rama. You're not doing Rama's work. How will you attain Rama? Then Vibhishana decides to help Rama by telling him the secrets of Ravana, helping him to unite with Mother Sita. So that is the idea. All the time you think of God, you don't have to separately take out time to think of God, because everything that you are doing in our institutions is a loving service to God. In the form of students, in the form of devotees, in the form of patients, in every form. Think like this and you are already redeemed. You got Buddhi Yoga. So this is how it is. Then another assurance Krishna gives here in the 11th shloka is Tesham eva anukampartham aham ajnanamajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. Very beautiful shloka. It says, to those people who love and serve me like this and think of me all the time, whom I give Buddhi Yoga, what else I do for them? He says, to them, out of my anukampa, out of my special grace, not ordinary grace, special mercy on them, I destroy the ajnanam in them. The tamaha, the darkness born out of ajnana, I destroy it. How? By lighting the lamp of wisdom in their heart. How? Because I reside in their heart. So I am inside their heart and I will light the lamp of wisdom. In that light, all their ignorance will be destroyed. What an assurance. Krishna says, just do this for me, serve me lovingly in everybody. Priti Purvakam, I'll give you buddhi. You will be able to discriminate between impermanent and permanent, ajnana and jnana. I light the lamp of wisdom in your heart. With that, you can see everything in the right way. You will see divinity everywhere. When it's dark, we take rope for a snake. Last time we discussed that. And we get scared. But when you put a torch, you see that it is only a rope and not a snake. Then you are not scared. When you look at the world, you get scared. Because it's the darkness of ignorance. But when your divine light glows within you, you see in the light of divinity, everything looks divine. Then all your fear disappears. That is the beauty of this Krishna's assurance. I will light the lamp, he says, in your heart. You don't have to do anything. You just be like this, I'll come and light the lamp in your heart and destroy the darkness. What assurance, what assurance. Shankaracharya beautifully has done a commentary on this particular shloka. He says, what is that lamp? He says, your antakarna is the lamp. It should be pure, clean, because if water is there in the lamp, oil will not work. So keep that. What is the oil? He says, grace that you draw because of your devotion from God, that is the oil. He says, wick is the brahmacharya sadhana, being austere and with self-restraint. That is the wick, dry wick. You are not attached to anything. Then the oxygen, the air that is required is intense meditation on the divine, always thinking of the divine. Then the glass case, which avoids the wind so that your flame does not get blown away. That is nothing but a withdrawn mind, which is free from raga dvesha. And the lamp, the light that finally glows there is samyak darshana, he says. The ability to see the sameness in everything. This is how Adi Shankara has explained this shloka. How that lamp is antakarna, you purify of all your negativity. Fill the oil of grace which you have drawn because of devotion. Keep the wick of tapas, brahmacharya, all the austerities, dry wick. Then the air, the oxygen is intense meditation, that mumukshatvam. wanting to know God, and withdrawn mind, upaharit, because withdrawn mind is not, it will get entangled with objects of the senses. So that is why you have to withdraw your mind. Then your light will glow, and in that light you can see everything clearly. So this is the sadhana that Adi Shankaracharya has recommended. Now what happens because of this? Arjuna is overwhelmed by this declaration of Krishna. He says, Arjuna Vacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam Rushayaha Sarve, Devarshi Naradas Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva Bravishive. What Devarshi Narada, Asito, Devala, Vyasa, all these great rishis talk about you, today you have spoken about that, about yourself to me. I've heard that you are this. I heard rishis talk about you like this. But I am so lucky. I am listening to it from your mouth. And what you are? Parabrahma you are. Parandhama, ultimate refuge for everyone. Pavitram, you bring sacredness, auspiciousness to everyone. Paramam Bhavan, you are the ultimate source of everything. Purusham, you are the one who resides in all. Pura means this body, the one who resides. Shashvatam, you are the permanent. Divyam, Adidevam, you are the first and foremost Lord, Supreme Deity. Ajam, never born. Vibhum, you are everywhere. This is what rishis talk about you, and today I have heard it from your mouth. So Arjuna is overwhelmed. He has forgotten that he has come for a battle. He is so overwhelmed and mesmerized by these divine words of Krishna. So this is Arjuna's adoration, that how he is able to appreciate what Krishna is now. And he's become so overwhelmed that this is the same Lord who is my friend, who is my cousin, who is my playmate, who is my confidant, who is my everything. What a beautiful relation, you know. One shloka will come later. Piteva putrasya sakheva sakyu priya priyaya arhasi deva sodam. Like a father forgives the son, like a friend forgives the friend, like a beloved forgives his lover. Forgive me, or Lord, he says later. That is the relation between them. Imagine the same Lord is the Supreme Brahman. Arjuna is overwhelmed. And he goes on to say, Sarvametad dhrutam manya yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana danavaha. What you have told me about yourself directly, nobody knows it, I know. Even devas and devatas or asuras, nobody has understood, not been able to fathom your glory. And you have spoken to me all this by yourself. So he's so happy and so overwhelmed with devotion now. And he also goes on to say, Swayamev atmanatmanam vettattvam parushottama. Only you know yourself. Nobody knows you in entirety. Only you alone know yourself. Atmanatmanam. Nobody else can describe you. I am so lucky that you are describing yourself to me. Can there be a greater fortune? That is Arjuna's joy now. Bhuta bhavan bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. You are the God of all gods. You are the jagatpate. You are the beginning, end, middle of everything. I am so overwhelmed that I am listening to this truth directly from your lips. How beautiful this worship. And he says, I am not satisfied with your description. Tell me more. Tell me more. Arjuna is still hungry for more. Like the calf, remember the imagery of a calf? Gita is a cow, and the Gita is the milk, and Krishna is the milkman. Upanishads are the cow, and Arjuna is the calf. And a calf is hungry for more. If you go to our Gokulam, you'll see. You leave the calf, he will finish all the milk. He won't know where to stop. Wants more and more and more. So Arjuna wants more. He says, Vaktur aham asheshena divyahi atma vibhutayah yabhi vibhuti bhir lokan imans tvam vyapya trishtasi. Tell me more, without leaving any detail. Tell me completely about yourself. I want to listen to you. That glory of yours with which you permeate the entire cosmos. Tell me about you. Asheshena, without leaving anything. Tell me the entire story. Sometimes, our children, somebody comes and talks to me, 10 people will be waiting downstairs. What did he say? What did Swami say? What did he say? He'll say, no, he said, no, tell us in detail. Exactly. Then you went up and then you said, then what happened? They want to know all details. Some are just out of curiosity, but some out of devotion also. But that is how Arjuna, so glorious you are. Please tell me everything in detail. Because I know nobody knows so much about you. No Rishi, no Deva, no Gana, no Asura. Nobody knows. Nowhere it's written in completely. You alone know, so please tell. Why you should tell me? Arjuna's beauty of this prayer is Katham Vidyamaham Yogim Tvam Sada Parichintayan. How should I know you and remember you at all times? Help me with that. So that I always remember you in everything. Parichintayan, not ordinary chinta, parichintayan, all the time. I must constantly remember you. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagwan maya. In which all ways, keshu keshu cha bhaveshu. In which all ways I should think of you so that I'm always remembering you. You said you are in everything, you are everything, you permeate everything. So teach me, tell me how all I should remember you. I tell you, Pratibodha viditam matam amritattvam hi vindate. Upanishad says, in everything see divinity. In the ant that is crawling in front of you, somebody will think it's just an insect. Biology fellow will think, oh, that's another, this insect. But what will you think? Look at the divine energy, the consciousness in that ant, which is making the ant move, digest. It also has a system, the digestive system. It has a breathing system. It has a system to smell, taste, touch. All that in a miniature ant is available. What a glory of God that ant represents. So somebody who is devotee, he'll see things like that. A beautiful shloka Shankaracharya says, Yatretra manomadiyam bhavatu tattatra bhavatu tava pada pankajam. Wherever my mind goes, let me see your feet. Let me see your feet everywhere. And that is what in Jidagdishya Viveka also it is said, Dehabhimanam galite vijnate paramatmani yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhayaha. Once my ego is dissolved and I know your truth, wherever my mind goes, I'm in samadhi. Samadhi means in the complete absorption in that highest truth. My mind is never deflected, never disturbed, always equanimous because I see you in everything. This is what you blessed me with. Therefore, tell me more about you, because only when you tell me more and how to worship you, how to remember you in everything, will I be able to constantly remember you. Because you said, if I remember you constantly, you will give me Buddhi Yoga, and that will help me to redeem myself. So please teach me. He goes on to say, Vistarena atmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuya kataya triptir shunvanto nasti me amrut. This is amrutam. I am not satisfied with whatever you have told. Tell me more. Because how can one be satisfied with this elixir of beautiful knowledge about you? Tell me, Vistarena atmano yoga. Oh, about your yoga, tell me in detail. Don't leave any details. Bhagavan says, Hantate kathayishyami divya hi atma vibhutaya pradhayanta kuru shrestha nastyanto vistarasya me. Nasti antah, there is no end to my glory. You want to listen to everything, but I cannot explain to you because there is no end to my glory. I can't tell you in detail. Kabir Das says, Sab dharti kagaz karu, lekhani sab ban raye, saat samudra ki masi karu, guru guna likha na jaye. Even if I turn the whole ocean into ink and all the forests into a pen and earth into paper, even then I cannot describe your glory, O Guru. Kabir Das says. Same thing, Krishna himself is saying, you want to know everything about me, but one thing I can't do for you is to tell you entirely about me because it is so big, my glory is so great. I can't explain to you. But pradhanyanta, main things, sample I'll give you. Little illustration I'll give you. I can't explain to you the entire glory. Because Arjuna asked, no, give me entire detail without leaving anything because I want to know everything about you. Krishna says, I would love to tell you, but Arjuna has forgotten he has come for battle, sitting and asking for. Many children are very chalu. Many times in the class, they don't want to study. What they do, they catch the hold of the poor devoted teacher. Sir, today tell us about Swami, sir. That's it. The teacher starts, poor fellow loses himself. And these children are having happy time, bunk the whole class, never studied anything. But that is insincere way of learning. This is Arjuna sincere. He has a battle to fight. There are people waiting on either sides. He is in the midst of the battlefield. Yet he is so overwhelmed by Arjuna. Arjuna is overwhelmed by Krishna. He says, tell me everything in detail. I want to listen to it. And Krishna says, I'm sorry, I can't. Because it is so big, my glory is so big, I can't explain. But I'll give you some highlights, simple things I can tell you. And he says, Ahamatma Gudakesha, this is the most important shloka. Ahamatma Gudakesha sarva bhuta shayasthitaha ahamadishcha madhyamcha bhutanam anta evacha. Adi Shankara was asked, tell me one shloka which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is the shloka he pointed. Ahamatma Gudakesha, who am I? I am the Atman. I am the Atman Arjuna. Sarva bhuta ashayasthitaha, residing in the heart of all. Narayana Suktam, Narayana tells, he resides in the heart like a spark, a golden spark. That is where I reside. In everybody's heart I reside as Atman. I am not the Krishna standing in front of you. I am the Atman in everyone. Aham adishcha madhyamcha. I am the beginning, I am the middle, and bhutanam antamivacha. I am the end of everything, of all beings. Everything comes out of me, resides in me, and finally dissolves in me. I am that. Know this. This is my highest glory. If in one shloka I have to tell you my glory, this is my glory. I present myself as Atman in all, though I am the beginning, middle, and end of everything. This is the long and short of my glory. That is in one shloka he says. And this is where the concept of Atman he has again reintroduced. And the Atma is in you. Where is God residing in us? Is he in the toe? Is he in the knee? Is he in the stomach, kidney, everywhere? Yes, everything is made of God only. But his Mula Sthana is in our heart. Heart means not physical heart. It is the central area of our existence. When we say, where are you? I am here, we'll say. Automatically hand goes here. We never say, I am here, like that. Automatically hand goes, because this is something that we relate to as our true existence. So that is the idea. I reside in that central core of your place. Like the government is everywhere, but sits in Delhi, central government. Like that, God is everywhere, but he sits in the heart. So that is the idea. I live in the heart of all. I am the Atman. I am the beginning, middle, end of everything. That is the idea of our Ramana Maharshi telling, inquire, who are you? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are the Atman. He has a beautiful who am I concept. He says, from idam vritti, when you are overwhelmed by emotions and attachment, ask, to whom does it all belong? It belongs to me, you will say. Then who is this me? Like that you inquire one by one. This kerchief is mine. So kerchief is different from me. That is the concept. I am not the kerchief. Car is mine. I am not the car. Body is mine. I am not the body. Thoughts are mine. I am not the thoughts. Emotions are mine. I am not the emotions. That's how you go on, from idam vritti to aham vritti to aham. That is what in Upadesha Sara, our Ramana Maharshi explains. This is how you do the inquiry of I. So who am I, who am I, who am I? That is the whole concept. And this also is there in many other scriptures, but I am trying to draw your attention. When you get overwhelmed by emotions and attachments, ask this question, who am I? It seems somebody went to Ramana Maharshi, he was a Narayana Bhakta. He said, no, Swamiji, tell me whether I will reach Vaikuntha, Paramadhamam at the end of all the life service to God. He said, yes, you will. Will I meet Mahavishnu there? He said, yes, you will meet. Will Mahavishnu talk to me? Ramana Maharshi says, yes, he will talk to you. What will he talk to me? He will tell you, find out who you are. This is what he will talk to you. So God is as the Atman, the indestructible, and try to learn that. Then he goes on describing, I'm not going to take all the shlokas, you can read it for yourself. If I'll give you an exercise actually. Almost 60 to 70 attributes Krishna talks about himself. I am so and so among so and so. Like for example, Adityanam aham Vishnuhu, Jyotisham Ravi Amshuman, Marichi Marutam Asmi, Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Of all the Adityas, 12 Adityas, I am Vishnu. Vishnu is Vamana. I am the Vamana, son of Aditi. Why is Vamana? Because he is one of the very glorious avatars of Vishnu, who could cover the whole earth, the whole sky and all that stuff. So amongst all the Adityas, I am the best of them, which is Vamana. Then amongst all the Jyotisham, means all the luminous objects in the sky, I am the sun. Not anything less than that. Marichi, I am the cool breeze amongst all types of winds. Marutasmi. And Nakshatranam aham Shashi. In the night sky, all that stars that shine, I am the moon amongst them. Basically, next set of shlokas will go on glorifying Krishna as the best among that particular category of things or people. Amongst Aditya, he is the Vamana, the best Aditya. Like that, Vedanam Samavedosmi. Of all the Vedas, I am Samaveda. All Vedas are great, but Samaveda has music to it. It is more glorious. So Samaveda. Devanam Asmi Vasavaha. I am the Vasa Indra amongst the Devas, the king of Devata. Indriyanam Manaschasmi. Amongst all the faculties, I am the mind, which is the most powerful. Because when one faculty or eyes, ears are shut, mind is still alive and working. So I am the powerful mind. Bhutanam asmi chetana. I am the life force in all the living beings. See, it's so important. We kill animals and eat them up. Is it fair? Because God only is that life force which is keeping that animal alive. Then many people say, then God is also in the plants. All the time you keep out vegetarianism, but plants also have God. Are plants not suffering? I said, yes, they are also suffering when you cut them or treat them badly. But their suffering, the life force expresses itself much lesser in plants than animals, because they don't have a fully developed cranial or nervous system, or they're not sentient as animals. So this is less damage. Live in this world, but don't cause too much damage. So somebody asked, so what should we eat if we don't want to hurt anybody, harm anybody? I tell you, eat like sages eat the fruit that falls from the tree after the insects have eaten. That is the food that you must eat. The water that flows in the river without stagnation, that is the water you must drink. If you really want to live a pure life, that is the way. So I always tell, whatever grows out of the earth, that is Grows under the earth is tamasic, should not eat, like tubers and all. What grows out of the earth is okay, rajasic, rice, grains, all this thing. Whatever falls from the sky is sattvic, like the fruits. Falls, not plugged, falls from the sky on its own. And whatever moves, you should never eat, I say. The best food is what falls from the sky on its own. After the birds have eaten, after the insects have eaten, whatever is left, you eat. This is the purest way of living, but that is too far-fetched for this modern time. So at least try to cause less damage, because Bhutanam Asmi Chetana, I am the life force in all beings. If you take away the life force, you are hurting God. For your sake, you should not hurt anybody. That is the idea. He says, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Of all the yajnas, I am the Japa Yajna. You will say, what is this new yajna? Navaratri is coming, we are going to have too many types of yajnas, Devi yajna, and the most famous Lakshmi Kubera Homa and all that. But he says, amongst all the yajnas, I am Japa Yajna. See, Japa is such a simple yajna, no need of any expenses, no need of ghee, no need of altar, no need of these priests, no need of mantras. Just remember the name of God. That itself is Japa. You can do it anytime. No time is required, no muhurtam is required, no festival is required, no special preparation is required. So amongst all the yajna, I am the Japa Yajna, the continuous remembrance of God's name. Like this, so many Vibhutis talks about. He says, Naranam cha naradipam, amongst all the human beings, I am the king. Idea is that I am the best amongst the best. That is my fullest expression of my divine glory. I am all beings, but amongst them I am the king, he says. Because that is the most glorious existence of mine. He goes on to say like this, Prahaladaschasmi Daityanam. Even in demons, I am Prahalada. Now you know why he says among demons I am Prahalada. Because he is the one demon who was always devoted to God. He was not at all like a demon. So he says, amongst them I am Prahalada. Mriganam cha Mrigendroham. I am the lion amongst all the animals, the best, not less than that. Vainateyascha Pakshinam. I am the Vainateya, Garuda amongst all the Pakshis. Kala Kalayatamaham. Of all that which keeps account and account of everything, I am the Kala. I am the time which keeps account of everything and never gets, it was, is and will be. So of all the things that come and pass, I am time which never passes. It's always eternal. Like this he says, Pavanaha Pavatasmi, Rama Shastra Bhritamaham. He says, I am Rama amongst all those who wield weapons. Why? Because Rama's Ekabanam. He will never use the second arrow to kill the same person. One arrow is enough, it goes straight. So focused and so skilled Rama was. So amongst all the Kshatriyas who wield weapons, I am Rama, he says. Krishna, he started talking about himself. And he says, Sarganam adirantascha madhyam chaivam Arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vada pravadatamaham. I am the beginning, middle and end of all creation, Arjuna. And amongst all the type of education, vidyas, I am Atma Vidya, Adhyatma Vidya. Adi Atma, that which pertains to the Atman, that is the knowledge that I am. Dve Vidya Veditavi, you all know about that now. The higher and the lower knowledge. I am the higher knowledge of the Atman. Oh, so you are not science, you are not maths, you are not humanities, you are not music. We don't have to study all that. No, you have to study all that. That is also divinity, but the best expression of divine knowledge is Adhyatma Vidya. All Vidya is divinity only. But the best expression is Adhyatma Vidya. That is the idea. And Vada Pravadatamaham. Of all the types of debates, discussions and all, I am the one which uses logic. Many people argue without any logic, simply talk. Vitandavada we call it. Stupid arguments and debates. No logic, no sense, only ego. But I am Vada Pravadatamaham. That which is logic-based, fact-based discussion, I am that discussion. So beautifully, he's trying to tell in everything, see me. When two people are arguing, and out of ego, you know that there is no divinity here. But somebody is giving logic and correct things, then you know that this is Krishna speaking through them. This is divinity speaking through them. Aksharanam akarosmi. Of all the letters, alphabets, I am A. Because with A, everything begins. You open your mouth, air goes out, sound comes. And after the same principle is applied in different ways for different alphabets, akshara. So on that, I am A. Dvandva samasikasya cha. Samasa is a grammatical rule. Dvandva samasa, the pair of words that come together. I am that samasa in grammar. See how you can see Krishna in everything. Keshu, Keshu, he says, in which all ways can I see your glory? In samasa, when you study your grammar class, please think of Krishna when you read about Dvandva samasas. Ahameva akshaya kalo. Of all the things which never get destroyed, I am kala. I am the time. Then dhataham vishvatomukha. Of all the creators, I am Brahma. Mrityuha sarvaharashchaham. Of all the beings that can take away everything from you, I am Mrityu who takes away literally everything. I am the mrityu amongst all things that are taken away from you by somebody. Amongst those, I am the mrityu, the death. So death is also God. You should not run away from death. At the same time, you should not run towards death also foolishly. Run away means you don't fear death anymore. Death is a passage in life, it's a passage to the next life. So that we know, vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya and all that. So death also is me only, because unless destruction happens, creation cannot happen. So every day our cells are getting destroyed, new cells are being generated. That is death and creation happening all the time within us, because of which we are sustained. One beautiful line comes here. It says, Kirti Shri Vakcha Nari Nam Smritir Medha Dhriti Kshama. These 7 feminine qualities also I only am. What are the 7 feminine qualities? Kirti, fame, good name. Shri, prosperity. Vak, ability to speak. Smriti, memory. Medha, intelligence. Dhruti, forbearance or resoluteness. Kshama, forgiveness or forbearance. So all these I only am, these 7 good qualities. Now you may say, oh, so these qualities are feminine qualities, so male are not going to have this good name, prosperity. Anyway, buddhi is not there, that women have all, they're quite convinced about that men don't have brains. But Krishna says, all these I am only all these. How? What does he mean by these feminine qualities? See, we are going to have Navaratri homas. We are going to worship Ichcha Shakti, Medha Shakti, Kriya Shakti in the form of feminine deities. Ichcha Shakti, Lakshmi, Kriya Shakti, Durga, Jnana Shakti, Saraswati. So it doesn't mean that only women will get all this because they are worshipping women goddesses. No, you worship the women goddesses, you will get the same quality. He says these 7 qualities, like simply Shri is Lakshmi, Vak is Saraswati, Smriti or Medha is again Saraswati, Dhruti is Durga, Kshama is Durga, and Kirti you can think of Lakshmi. So all these are feminine devis are in charge of these good qualities. So don't think because I am Krishna, a male god, I am not in charge of these female goddesses who are deities of these qualities. So he is trying to say I am only everything. All these 7 qualities are needed for everyone. They are given by certain goddesses. These are deities. That's why when Navaratri is coming, worship properly, you will get these 7 qualities. These 3 devis will give you. That's what Krishna is telling. See me in that too. Bruhat Sam Tatha Sana. Among Samaveda, I am Bruhat Sam mantras. Gayatri Chandasam. Of all the chandas, we have Anushtup Chanda. In this we have Anushtup. Trishtup Chandas are there in Bhagavad Gita. But I am Gayatri Chanda. There is another type of Chanda, meter, in which the shlokas have been written. So amongst them all Gayatri Chanda is what I am. Actually Gayatri mantra is called Chandasam Mata. The best of the mantras is Gayatri mantra because it is in Gayatri meter. That's why it's called Gayatri. Masanam Margashirsha. Amongst all the months, I am the Margashirsha month. Why? Because that is very pleasant month. All the harvest is over, people are prosperous, temperature is good, no rain, no sun, it's a mild temperature. So of all the months, I am Margashirsha between December and January. That is the month I am Rutunam Kusumakaraha. Of all the seasons that we have, I am the spring season because it's the most beautiful season on earth. But next sloka is quite confusing, but that's again the glory of God. Dyutam chalayatamasmi. In the game of gambling, I am the one who is that cunning gambler. The ability to gamble is me, he says. Why does he say like this? All gamblers will feel extremely happy. Today gambling is happening everywhere. This online gambling, have you seen? These kids, these youngsters are getting stuck with these online. So how much money they are losing? Gaming and gambling apps. And big celebrities are endorsing it so foolishly. How horrible that is. Earlier, anybody went to a gambler's place and it was a taboo, it was a stigma. People were scared to go. They'll go in the night, in the dark. Now, Kuleam, daytime, everybody is playing gambling games on their mobile phones. Where the society has come down. But now those people have a reason to say, no, we are all the divinity manifested as gambling. What Krishna is trying to say that anything that is done perfectly, it is because of my ability only. If a thief steals very perfectly, never gets caught by the police. Hacker hacks a whole internet system, never gets caught by the cyber police. He is very intelligent. That intelligence, buddhi, medha, all that is me only. But wrongly used, that's the only problem. The rightly used could have been better. And similarly, Rudram you chant, it comes, Taskaranam Pataye Namaha, some stena, of all the people, I am thief, I am the robber, and Stayunam or something, even Vanchate Parivanchate, I am the one who cheats people. That's also Shiva only, Rudran Namakam says. Idea is that suppose somebody cheats you, this is how you can console yourself. Okay, it happened to be what to do. Divine will let me accept and move on. But idea is that anything that anybody is good at, it's because of me only, he says. So even a thief cannot take the credit that I am a very smart thief. No. Krishna, the divine, has allowed me to steal so well that nobody could catch me. Tejas Tejasvinamham. I am the Teja in the Tejasvis. Teja means that spiritual splendor. Teja can be of many types. When you are happy, generally your face is glowing. You've eaten good food, rested well, face is glowing. You're healthy, face is glowing. But he says, I am that spiritual glow in people. When people think of me, our faces, many devotees who come, they say, your students' faces are shining. What powder are they using? I said, there is no powder, there is no cream here. It is just Adhyatma Tejas. They're always thinking of divinity, God. That's why they're so bright. That is the reason. Otherwise, there is no makeup required because they are bright by your spiritual virtues. So, that Tej I am among the Tejas. Jayosmi Vyavasayoha. All the people who do businesses, I am the victory or I am the success in their businesses. So, what about the failure? Am I the failure too? Yes, I am the failure too if they do it wrongly. Then that also they have to accept. Sattvatamaham, all the sattvic people, the quality of being sattvic is also because of me. The pure sattva, rajas, tamas, these are three gunas. Among the three gunas, I am the best guna, which is sattva. Vrishninam Vasudevosmi, amongst the Vrishni clan, Yadava clan, I am the Krishna Vasudeva. Pandavanam Dhananjaya, see very beautifully, he says, if everybody is Pandava, I am Dhananjaya, I am the Arjuna amongst the Pandava, because you are the best of the Pandavas. Very good man Arjuna was. He had a Purva Tapa. He didn't want to fight the war because he felt why should he kill his people. He was ready to forego the war also. He was somebody who was very obedient. When he won Draupadi's hand in marriage, mother said everybody should share. She said okay. Anything and everything he followed Yudhishthira's commands. So he was a good man. So amongst all the Pandavas, I am Arjuna, he says. How beautiful. Muninam api aham Vyasaha. Here our Vyasa also has added himself, who has written this. That amongst all the Munis, I am the Vyasa. And Kavinam Ushana Kavihi. Ushana is Shukracharya. He is one of the very smart. Kavi means not poet. Kavi means an intelligent person. Shukracharya, who was the guru for the demons. He was super smart. That's why Devatas were always losing the battle. Because he used to strategize their battle and victory. So amongst all the strategists, I am Shukracharya, is saying. Dando Damayatamasmi. The children should pay attention. Of all the ways of disciplining people, I am punishment. Through punishment, when people are disciplined, that punishment is me, because there are 4 ways of disciplining people. Sama, Dama, Bheda and Danda. Sama means tell nicely, fellow, behave yourself. That fellow doesn't listen. Dama, if you behave well, you will get this extra marks or extra prize or extra praise. Doesn't listen. Then Bheda, you have to tell, if you do this, I will tell your parents about what you did in the hostel. At least behave now. Even then listen, then Danda. Danda means one danda. But I am very against it though. Danda is the last resort. If you do this danda business here, saying Krishna is danda amongst all dhamma, but unfortunately that is going too far. Spare the rod and spoil the child, they say, the old method. But as I said, try sama, dama, bheda. Danda is the last option, and don't use physical danda. You can take some other disciplinary measures. That's why I told our high school people, they were yelling in the Premamritam once. I got so upset I didn't allow them for many days. For me, that is the method of danda. I don't have to go and beat them up and shout at them. I just deny them something which will make them feel bad. And so they should ruminate and come back. Now in high school they have a menu for what mistake, what danda is there. Come late to the class, this is your punishment. Come late to food, this is the punishment. Sleep during prayers, this is the punishment. So everybody has to just go look at the menu and choose for themselves. Today I came late to the class, I have to stand for 10 minutes. Nobody tells them, it's a ready-made menu, they have put it up. With children, with consultation with the children, that you have to accept this self-punishment if you do mistakes. So very good danda, damayatasmasmi, I am the danda amongst all. Niti rasmi jigishtam, those who are desirous of success, I am niti, the right thinking, right policies, right strategies. This is what I am. Wrong strategy, wrong policies won't help you win. So that thinking, correct thinking, niti, moral rectitude is me. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam, those who are very secretive people, I am the ability to keep secrets. This doesn't exist on this side of the hall. Only this side it exists. Idea is that to be able to keep secret is a big thing. Imagine my plight. I know about so many devotees, so many good, bad, or ugly things. I have to keep it all within my heart. I can't speak about it. Lawyers, doctors, and spiritual leaders, they can't speak about it. They know everything, but they have to keep quiet. So ability to keep that secret is also me. Imagine an army person leaks out all of India's secret to a neighboring enemy. What will happen to the country? The ability to keep secrets is a big ability. Maunam, that ability to keep quiet, especially high school children. The ability to keep quiet and not make noise is that ability of Krishna only. Then Jnanam Jnanavatamaham, the wisdom in all the wise people is me. Towards the concluding shlokas, he says, Yachapi sarva bhutanam bijam tad aham arjunam na tadasti vina yastu yan maya bhutam characharam. He says, I am the cause of everything. You are here because of me, not because of you. You are doing what you're doing because of my power, not because of your intelligence and talents. Anything that you are able to experience is because of me. I'm the bijam, I'm the cause, I'm the root of everything. Because of me only everything exists. This is what Krishna says. And what else he says? Sarva bhutanam. It's not that only for good people and not for the bad people and sinner, and said for everyone I am the reason. Then na tadasti vina, without which nothing can exist. That force, that ability, that substratum, that fundamental basis is me. He's saying without me nothing exists. If I am not there, nothing exists. For what? Bhutam, chara, acharam. For all that exists, chara, moving, and for that which is not moving, that's thanum. For both, I am the reason, I am the cause. You may say in stone how Krishna is there. In that ability of, I said no, unified field theory, atoms stay in their place, molecules stay in their place, the force field keeps everything in shape. That force is Krishna, that force is consciousness, that force is Brahman, divinity. That is how he exists in everything, without which this world will collapse into a, they say if you squeeze the whole universe, it can fit into a cube. That much space exists in the universe, but still we are so wide and exist in different shapes because of the force that keeps us together like this. That force is divinity, that divine intelligence is divinity. And he says, Na antosti mama divyanam vibhuti nam parantapa esha tu uddeshatah prokto vibhuter vistaro mayaha. He says, there is no end to my glory, O Arjuna. This is just a sample I have given you. There is no end to my glory. Therefore, I could not tell you in all details. I have told you uddeshataha, just a sample, just a glimpse of my glory I have given you. From this you should be able to understand. You want to taste the sea water, you don't have to drink the whole sea. Just one spoon of water in your mouth, you know it is salty. So the whole sea is salty. If you want to taste sugar, you don't have to eat the entire jar. One crystal tells you it is sweet. Likewise, this much glory, if you contemplate on, you will know that it is divinity and divinity alone and nothing else. So try to meditate on these glories of Krishna or God in every little thing in your life. And finally he says, Yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimat urjitameva va tatta deva va avagacha tvam mam tejo amsha sambhavam. He says, all that you see here doesn't even need all of my power. With my amsha, just a fraction of my power, I am holding all this together. I don't even use all my power. Just a fraction of my divine glory is sufficient for everything. So everything that is sattva, good, Shri, prosperous, urjitam, glorious, all that is because of me. Avagacha, come to know of it, Arjuna, that all this is with fraction of my glory, amsha. I am able to do all these things. If I use all my power, you can imagine what will happen. With my partial power, I am able to do all this. This is the power of my glory. Athava bahunetena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyam vyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. Final concluding shloka is that what is the use of knowing everything about me? Just know this much, that I permeate everything with a fraction of my existence. If I exist in my entire glory, something else will happen. With just a fraction of my power, I maintain the whole universe. Others, my powers are infinite, my glory is infinite. Such a beautiful way of Krishna telling about himself, that he supports the entire universe with just a fraction of his power and glory. A beautiful shloka comes in Shivastuti, Asita Gira, similar to the Kabir Das, but I thought I'll share with you. Asita Giri samam tajjalam sindhu patre sura taruvar shakha lekhani patra murvi likhati yadi grahitva sharada sarvakalam tadapi tava gunanam isha param nayati. If a mountain of lamp soot, the black, is created, and all that is mixed in the ocean and made an ink out of it. And that Surataruvar, the great tree, the one which fulfills all the desire, Kalpavriksha, is made into a pen. And if Sharada, and earth is made into paper, and Sharada herself writes the glory for all the time, without taking a break, all her lifetime, Tadapi Tava Gunanam Isha Param Nayati, still we will not be able to ever transcend or write your complete glory or Lord. That is the idea of Vibhuti Yoga. But the simplest way of looking at it is the perfection in everything is because of divinity. See that perfect hand of God in everything. In good, bad, ugly experiences of life, try to see hand of God. That is why if I have to tell who am I will tell, of all the teachers in high school, I am that teacher who teaches the best. Of all the students in our college, I am that student who follows all the disciplines the best. Of all the singers in the bhajan hall, I am the one who sings with complete surrender. Of all the ladies sitting here, I am the one who talks the least. Of all the doctors who serve in the hospital, I am the one who serves with pure love to the patients. Of all the administrators and management of this institution, I am the one who administers with impartiality. Of all the donors who fund and who support these programs and institutions, I am the one who gives it with the idea that he is not the giver. Of all the people who exist over here, I am the one who exists as the purest amongst them. That is the divine glory. That is how you can think. So children can think that I can also feel that divinity when I do my best. I do it to the best of my abilities in the perfect way, without any ego, without any desires, without attachments, without doership and enjoyership. At that moment, I am being Krishna. At that moment, I am being divine. That perfection is what I expect. That's what I gave the speech during Independence Day, that India is suffering from mediocrity right now. India is suffering from democracy, no doubt about it. But more it's suffering because of mediocrity. People don't aim for perfection. They don't give their best. They don't give their 100%. Chalta hai, kaam chalo, something they do in the office as a namesake, do some work and come back. That is why we are where we are. I have been to other countries. I have been to Japan, Singapore. They don't believe in so much of spirituality like us. But they do whatever they do to perfection. In that perfection, I see God. Other day I was telling, when these carpets were being put, always the carpet was not in the center. One carpet was always off center. So last time I told, amongst all the people who place the carpet, those who place the carpet in the center, I am them. See, carpet is in the center right now. I watched this. Amongst all the hostel rooms, the room without cobwebs and lizards, I am that room. This is how you should glorify God. In everything you do the best, you have glorified God, you have experienced the glory of God. So this is Vibhuti Yoga. See it in everything and everywhere. Try to experience that by doing your very best in whatever you do. Put the best foot forward, as they say. So what if nobody is watching? Michelangelo was painting the ceiling of Sistine Chapel. Somebody came and said, who is going to see your painting in that corner on top of the roof? He said, God is seeing. I am painting for God, not for whoever is the Pope. I am painting for God, therefore I will do it to the best. So please, from Vibhuti Yoga, one lesson that you can take back with you, practical lesson, is do everything to the best of your ability. And everybody's best is not the same, but your best should be your best. If you have done this much before, you should do little better than that. In that betterment, you have glorified God. The one who got 60 marks struggled to get 80 now. In that 20 marks transition, you have achieved Godhood. Divinity has expressed itself. Push yourself to that perfection. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, that is the motto of our university. That Kaushala, that perfection is divinity, and that perfection should be our aim in life. This is the essence of Vibhuti Yoga according to me. Others will only tell glorifying Krishna. Dvaita people will say Krishna is the supreme most Lord, not Rama, not Shiva, not Vishnu, not this, not that. That is not the essence of Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti Yoga is not even the essence that what he has created is perfect and therefore just try to enjoy that. No. Idea is that you are that divinity and whatever you do should also reflect that divine perfection. That is Vibhuti Yoga. Then God is glorified in you. Try to glorify that divinity which is within you, without you, by doing everything to the very best. So that Krishna can say, amongst all the institutions, I am the Satya Sai institutions. Because they run the best, they are the best people, most dedicated, committed, perfectionist, selfless, loving. That is how God should associate Himself with us. This is what we can do to glorify our Guru, our God, and that above all the Nirakara, Nirguna Brahman who exists and all. You understand this? So you do one exercise. There are so many examples Krishna has given. For the children, note down those exercise, the details. Like amongst Vedas, I am Sama. Amongst rivers, I am Ganges. Amongst mountains, I am Himalayas. And try to find out what is the virtue Krishna is talking about. Amongst all the animals, I am lion. So I am fearless. Amongst all the mountains, I am Himalayas, steady, protects the country. Amongst all the rivers, I am Ganges, the purest. So what is the quality Krishna is talking in each of these attributes? That is your assignment for the day. It can be for devotees, it can be for students, teachers, everybody can do. For what sake? For your own benefit, not to glorify me, not to glorify Bhagavad Gita, not to glorify Krishna. For your own betterment. Please do some exercise and see how you can manifest those qualities within you, and how through that quality you will glorify the divinity that exists within you. Then you have studied this Vibhuti Yoga chapter well, and through this yoga you will be able to attain that divine perfection within.